Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at installing TWRP, a custom recovery, on our Pixel 3a, and this will also work for the Pixel 3a XL as well. Now before, when we rooted this phone first off, we weren't able to install TWRP on a more permanent basis due to the fact that it didn't have an installer for it, and also there are a few things that we need to make sure that we have in order for TWRP to work when we do flash the TWRP installer. So let's go over the downloads that we need to do real quick on our computer here. Of course, the first one is the SDK Platform Tools, and you'll need to download the latest version here. The current version is 29.02, released as of July 2019. So download the one for your platform here. I'm going to download the one for Windows, and just click on this blue download button down here, and just save everything into one folder. Now this is just ADB and fastboot. I'm sure you're familiar with it by now, if not a little bit. And the next thing we need to find out is a suitable kernel that has the LZMA decompression support. Now there are a few kernels available for the Pixel 3a. We have the Dank kernel, and we have Elemental X, a favorite of many, and the Despair kernel and the stock kernel with F2FS file system. So we need to look at each kernel here and make sure they have support for the LZMA compression. Now here it says, at least for the Dank kernel, it does retain TWRP and Magisk, so that's cool. So you can assume that this has LZMA support. If not, you can just scroll down and usually someone will ask the question for you. But if it doesn't say on the first post, please search the thread before asking, because they're very picky about that. And I know that Elemental X does have LZMA support, which is great. So depending on which one you want to grab, I'm going to grab the Elemental X kernel. So you can click on the downloads here, and that'll take you to the Elemental X website, where you can scroll down a little bit here and just click on download down here, the kernel for Android Pie, and click on the start download button here, and then just save it into the same folder that we have on our computer once it finds the mirror for you. Okay, we'll leave that to download. And you'll also want to have the latest version of Magisk ready, just in case you lose root access, and it can happen. So download the latest stable or beta version from the XDA thread. And last but not least, we need to download a few things from TWRP. So just visit the TWRP link that is suitable for your device, whether you have the regular or the XL version, and then come down to the download links section and just choose one of the primary download links. And once you've done that, you want to download the latest TWRP installer. It's a zip file here, and of course the latest TWRP image to go with it. So these are the two files I have here, and you would just click on this download link to download the image, and of course you download the zip file, the installer, with this link as well. Now once you've downloaded everything, you should have at least these 5 files on your computer. If not, you can have more, but if you already have the Platform Tools set up, just make sure they're the latest version, which is 29.0.2. So the first thing we're going to do is to copy over a few things to our phone here, and you can see from before I've just plugged in my phone to the computer, and all you need to do is just change charging this device to file transfer. And once you've done that, you can head back to your computer here, or actually you can see it on my computer screen. Open up your internal storage. You can see I have some previous files here. Just as long as they're pretty new and the latest versions, you'll be fine. But I'm going to copy over the Elemental X custom kernel flashable zip, as well as the TWRP installer zip file. Make sure you copy those into the root of storage and not into one of these folders, just in case you can't find it. And also Magisk if you don't already have it on your phone. So you need Magisk, the TWRP installer, and the Elemental X or your custom kernels installer zip on the phone as well. Once you have those files copied over, you can close that Explorer window for your phone, and then we can open up the Platform Tools zip file here, and just extract the entire Platform Tools folder outside, just like that. And once you've done that, we can go ahead and open up the Platform Tools, and this is where we need to open up a command prompt window or a PowerShell window in order to use these programs. I'm going to stick with the command prompt just because it's a little bit easier to work with. And you can open up a command prompt window in this folder by going up to the address bar here and then typing in the word CMD and hitting enter. And you can see that the directory is already changed to Platform Tools. And when you run fastboot, let's say version, it'll give you the appropriate fastboot version here and also where it's located, and that is correct. So once you've done that, we can continue. So I'm just using a terminal emulator here, a console emulator, just to make things easier for us, but it should be exactly the same as the command prompt. So once you've opened up the command prompt in the Platform Tools folder, you can go back to the Android folder where we have everything else, and what we can do is now boot our phone into the bootloader so we can boot up TWRP and install our kernel. Now let's head over to our phone here, and all you have to do is hold the power button and tap on restart and hold the volume down button as soon as your screen turns black. Now keep holding it until you make it into the bootloader. Okay, so there we go. Now we're in. We can just leave it there for the moment, head back to our computer here, and all we need to do now is boot up the TWRP image provided here. So let's type in fastboot boot and drag in the TWRP image and hit enter. Now this may take a few moments, but your phone should boot into TWRP shortly afterwards. Okay, so TWRP is asking us to decrypt our data partition, and this is quite normal. All you need to do is enter in your PIN, pattern, or passcode, whatever you have set your screen lock to. So mine was set as *000 as the PIN, and if I hit tick, that should be able to decrypt our data partition, and we should be able to access the files that are on our SD card, or our internal storage. So once you've done that, let's head over to install, and let's install our custom kernel. So we can swipe to flash that, and just wait for that to do its thing. And that's done. And once we've done that, we can now flash the TWRP installer, which is also on our internal storage. So let's tap on that installer and swipe to flash that as well. Give this a moment for it to install TWRP on both your primary and secondary slots. And look, it also says that you are now unrooted, so the last thing we can do is flash Magisk. Now let's test out if TWRP has been installed properly and that we can access it before we flash Magisk, just so we don't have to do it again. So let's go back to the main menu, tap on Reboot, and then tap on Recovery, and this should theoretically reboot our phone back into TWRP without the need of booting the TWRP image temporarily using our computer. So we'll just wait and see until our phone boots into TWRP. If it boots straight into Android, it means that your kernel did not support the LZMA compression, and you will need to find a kernel that does so. But as you can see, Elemental X has covered that just fine. So let me just enter in the PIN again and try and decrypt our data partition. Okay, there we go. And we'll just give this a few moments for it to do its thing. Okay, now that's done, you can see we're in TWRP without the need of a computer. So we can now tap on install and flash Magisk again since we are unrooted. So let's swipe to flash that. Okay, so that's done. Now let's head over to tap on Reboot System and just cross our fingers here and our phone should boot up in just a few moments. It might take a little while. We should be rooted again since we were unrooted due to installing TWRP. And we should also be able to access TWRP without any kind of computer access or another device to boot it temporarily, which is always a plus. Okay, so our phone is booted up, which is a good sign. Let's enter in our PIN and let's just check on Magisk real quick. And it says we are rooted, which is great. There's a Magisk Manager update, but we won't do that just yet. Now let's reboot our phone into the recovery just to have a look and see whether we can still access TWRP. So I'm going to tap on restart, and you can hold volume up this time to boot into the recovery mode. I'll also disconnect my USB cable. So you should be able to boot into the recovery. You can let go once you're in the screen. And let's just wait for it to boot into TWRP. There we go, TWRP is loading up. We need to decrypt the data partition as usual and hit tick, and it should do that just fine, and then we should see TWRP, well, we're already in, so we know it's working, and you can do your thing around here. Now, just a quick note on custom ROMs. It may depend on if that kernel also supports the LZMA compression, but I think the only ROM we have is Lineage OS, and maybe a few other ones, sorry, Statics and Bootleggers. But you'll need to have a quick look and just see if it does support that. But if it doesn't, you can always flash, or you should be able to flash a custom kernel there that does support the LZMA compression. So don't worry about that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. And if you have any other questions, feel free to leave it down below, or feel free to join us on Discord there, where we can talk about whatever it is that you want, or if you want to ask for help over there as well. More than happy to do that. And thanks for watching, everyone. And as always, happy flashing.